play Allison with Wicked Edge. I've got another knife here, also sent in by Doug, to sharpen. This is a Benchmade Osborne. It's the 940 with D2 steel. And he's got a note here saying, I would like this knife to be reprofiled to 20 degrees per side or 40 degrees inclusive. So that'll be easy enough. I'm a big Benchmade fan. Personally, I've got a couple, and one of them is my everyday carry knife. So love these knives. On examination of the edge here, I was looking earlier, and I can see that the edge has, this knife has not been sharpened. It's still just got the factory edge, and it's pretty uneven. The bevel on the right side is a bit bigger than the bevel on the left side. So we're going to correct that, and we're going to just make it screaming sharp. One of the things we're going to do, which we did with the last knife from Doug, is just do kind of a nice before and after test. So what I'm going to do is take it over here to this phone book. This is just a little yellow book from Santa Fe. It's 286 pages, or 143 sheets of paper. And I'm going to see how much of a push cut I can do through here. I'm not expecting a whole lot. We'll just see how many pages I can get to. And make sure I don't cut the page numbers off. Alright, I'm going to use a lot of force, both hands, and push down hard. Okay, so that was actually pretty good. We got all the way to page 365 with it. So at the end of sharpening this thing, we'll come back and do it again and see if we do any better with it. So without further ado, we'll stick it here into the knife sharpener, grab it, snug it up. I've already got the angles down here set to 20 degrees per side, and I've already got my 100 and 200 grit stones on here. So what I'm going to do is just do matching strokes, alternating from side to side, and when all the marker's gone and I'm confident that both bevels are reaching the edge, then I'll know that it's time to check for a burr and to see if we've ground both bevels all the way completely. So here we go, matching strokes until the marker's gone. Okay, we're basically all the way there on the right side, not all the way there on the left side, which just reveals some of the kind of oddness in the way that the knife was finished, which is really typical for basically all production knives. You know, at the end of the day, you've got someone standing there in front of a slack belt, kind of moving the knife back and forth with a left hand and a right hand that are not the same. So you end up, you know, a lot of times with this kind of asymmetry or different grinds. So now that I've revealed kind of which sections of the knife are odd, let me see if I can get you to zoom in really tight to the marker here. Maybe you can see what I'm seeing in the camera. There we go. You can see, for example, that we're all the way to the edge here, not to the edge here, not to the edge back here. And this is the left side. If I flip this thing around, you'll be able to see that we are basically all the way to the edge except for a very tiny little portion out here at the tip. So what I'm going to do now is just focus on these edges on the left, on the sections on the left side that need a little extra work. So that's 10 scrubbing strokes. I want to repeat it on the right side just to make sure that I don't end up with wildly uneven bevels. And still a little bit uneven, and what it's revealing actually is that if I continue on the left side, I'll end up with a huge bevel and a little tiny bevel on the right. So what I'm actually going to have to do is just work the right hand side until the marker on the left hand side is gone. And I can actually watch that progress as I go. It's happening very quickly. The marker's just very rapidly disappearing. And so by watching both sides back and forth, I can really monitor my progress and make sure that I'm not going to end up with asymmetry from each side of the blade. And we're looking really good. There's a tiny little spot back here that needs some extra work. But at 20 degrees, this bevel on the left side is pretty big. The one on the right still small, so I've got to do a little work here to get that evened out. And now we're looking really good. Okay, so this is the point where I always check for a burr. I'm just going to feel, I've been sharpening the right side, so I'm going to feel along the left side. Make sure that I'm snagging all the way along really nicely, which I am. It's a great, very pronounced burr. Do the same thing, I'm going to sharpen on the left side now. And then check for a burr on this side. And yeah, it's right there, it's super solid. So I know both my bevels meet. Again, that's the most important thing. And I resume my alternating strokes. Switching to the 200 grit. The reprofiling part of the knife, you know, that takes a few minutes, and when a customer sends a knife in with that request, you know, we're going to take a little bit of time and change the angles, correct asymmetries and odd things about the blade. And that initial time investment, you know, is definitely worth it, because you end up with an edge that is properly formed, that's got the right geometry. Once you've got the reprofiling complete, the polishing is really fast and easy. I'm already up to the 400 grit stones, and the edge is just getting nicer and nicer. Switching to the 600. As I get into the higher grits, I really lighten up my pressure, and I just kind of go nice and easy with the strokes. Okay, so now I'm finished with the basic kit of the Wicked Edge. I'm going to jump to the first included set of stones that are additional, that are included in the Pro Pack, and these are the 800 and 1000 grit stones. So onto the 800 here. And then onto the 1000. Okay, now I'm going to jump onto the strops, which are included in the Pro Pack as well. These are the 5 and 3/5 micron strops, and before I do that, I'm going to want to clean the blade off really well so that I don't get any metal filings onto my leather. So I just take a paper towel. I tend to use rubbing alcohol here in the shop, but just a little bit of water on the paper towel would work fine too. So they're nice and clean and ready to go for the 5 micron strops. And this part goes really quickly as well. I can cycle through these so fast because I can get so many strokes in just a minute. And really, it's, you know, once you get a little bit of practice with the machine, you don't even have to, you know, really put a whole lot of effort into it. It's just a very easy process. I'll wipe it off again. I always wipe it off in between the strops. I want to make sure not to cross-contaminate the grits from one side of the strops to the other. And here we are on the 3.5 micron strops. Okay, so I've finished it up with the strops, and now we're just going to see how it compares in the test with the phone book and the push cut across the corner here. Now this is the same one I did before. I'm going through a longer section here, so I'm not sure if I'll be able to get as deep as I did on the first one, but I'll give it a good go here. Oh yeah, so we stopped here with the first one on the yellow, and now we're down almost all the way through the book with this second one here. So it's quite a bit more that we managed to get through. In fact, there's quite a bit more down there. So that's the Pro Kit, Wicked Edge Pro Kit, and it's a Benchmade Osborne 940 with D2 steel.